Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Thursday to everybody. Man, I missed you guys. Man, it feels like it's been a week since I've been on here live. Maybe because it has. Lots of news going on. We got the NFL Combine going on. Well, that's really all the news we got, isn't it? Before I get into what we're going to talk about today, also, the phone lines are open. Anybody that wants to call in, they can call 855-902-9368. We could talk about the NFL Combine. We could talk about how Kyler Murray's a midget. We could talk about how he grew 1 inch and now he's going to be Tom Brady. We could talk about Clemson football, Miami football, Oklahoma football, Michigan football, USC football, Oregon football, anything that involves football. Hell, we can even talk about AAF football if you want to, but I'm not going to be much help in that department. But before I do that, I do want to make an announcement. So tomorrow is the first of the month, since there's only 28 days in February. Tomorrow will be the last day of the contest for the Patreon contest for the month of February. So you have to sign up by March 1st to enter in this month. So far, Border Bob is running away with it. He's the only one to sign up for the month of February. He's got 2 entries. And so anybody who wants to do that, either sign up today or tomorrow if you want to enter that. And it's a $50 Visa gift card will be raffled off for that. Also, tomorrow is the end of the Super Chat contest. I got a bunch of people lined up for that. I will do a drawing for that next week. I'm gonna do it old school. I know you can do these little computer programs where you it automatically draws a name out of a hat. I am old school. I'm going to actually write down everyone's name as many times as they donated, put it in a hat, and draw it out on the air. So everybody can see there's no funny business. And I'll be doing a lot of writing. I might have to get the kids to help me with that, actually. But so far, we have NASA CGI Snakes, Alan V, Tiger Nation, Billy Dawson, Catfish, Hound Dog, Dondre Crawford, Smallball. Smallball has 100 entries. NMD TV, The Entertainer Talking Sports, Spencer from Rover Sports, Mr. Bad Dog 7676, The Sports Fury, and SEC Football Tube have all given Super Chats in the month of February. So that'll be interesting to see who wins that. And I'm going to leave it up to you. Whoever wins that, I'm going to either send you a shirt or a hat. I'm going to let you pick which one you want. Some people might not want a shirt. Maybe they want a hat. And if you pick a hat, you can pick whatever kind of hat you want. You can pick a fitted hat, a snapback hat, one of these hats that's got like a, I don't know what you call it. It's like a clamp hat. So you let me know if you win, and I'll send it to you. Also, Small Vol, whether he wins the contest or not, I will definitely be sending him a Tennessee Volunteers shirt because he donated through Super Chat $100 at one time. So, if he wins, he wins. If he doesn't, he's going to get something anyway. So thank you to Small Ball for that. Also, thank you real quick to all of my current Patreon members. You got Billy Dawson, Tiger Nation, Catfish from the Volunteer Roadshow, and of course our newest member is Border Bob, who is a Clemson fan. Let me see who is in the chat here real quick, and then I will check on the phone lines. If nobody's on the phone lines, I'll go right into this Kyler Murray midget situation. Good afternoon, Clemson Carson says, Bryce Harper is probably one of the 8 base he would be. Most people that voted on that, so I posted a poll or whatever on YouTube. Would he come in over 205 or under 205? I thought he'd be over. I actually thought he'd be right around 207 or 208, so I was right. But I think like 70% of the people voted under. One guy even said he's a tiny, tiny man. Now listen, 5'10", 207 is not a tiny, tiny man. Last time I checked. Maybe it is for football. I don't know. Prince 6'1" in the house. Billy Dawson, Jason Witten coming out of retirement. Now listen, that's great news for anybody who cares about watching Monday Night Football, because Jason Witten might be the worst announcer in the history of all announcing. But on the other hand, Jerry Jones has lost his marbles. Is any Cowboys fan out there happy about Jason Witten coming back out of retirement to play? Listen, he's a Hall of Famer, but he's not. Come on. $3.5 million for 1 year. I was watching this. Sean from the Sports Fury, who's a Cowboys fan, posted a video, I guess like an hour ago, about it. And he said he was happy. He thought Jason Witten would be a mentor in the locker room. Listen, that's a $3.5 million babysitter as far as I'm concerned. Jerry Jones has lost his mind. He's going to sign Dak Prescott to a long-term contract. Listen, the Cowboys, as long as Jerry Jones is the general manager and running football operations and not just being the owner, the Cowboys are never going to win a Super Bowl. until he croaks, which could be any time now. Let's be honest. I mean, the guy's no spring chicken. Ramon Jordan, let's hope stays retired from commentary. Exactly. Tigers, Texans fans, super fan. I'm on the phone waiting on you. Oh, okay, listen. I'll go ahead and get to the phone lines then. I'm sorry. I was going on a rant and a rave there. And after this phone call, I'll get to the Kyler Murray stuff. Let me see here. Well, there's nobody on the phone, sir. You lied. 855-902-9368. Somebody said they were on the line, but I don't see anybody on there. So, while I'm waiting on a phone call, I'll go ahead and get into this Kyler Murray thing. You know, it's amazing. It's not amazing that he measured in at 5'10", because everybody said he's 5'9", 5'9 and a half, 5'8", and he came in at 5'10". All of a sudden now they're like, oh, well, that changes everything. He's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft now because of 1 inch. So you're telling me that a 5'9 guy is going to be a second rounder, but a 5'10 guy, that means he's a first overall pick. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, I got somebody on the line here. I'll go ahead and pick this up before I get back into that. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Yeah, this is Tiger Texan superfan. I'll wait till you accepted my call. I'm caller, by the way.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in. What you want to talk about?
I would like to talk about something that nobody keeps talking about. I say nobody's talking about. One being, this is not to do with Kyler Murray, but I just want to get your thoughts on it. One is that nobody is talking about Hunter Renfrow, and we all know as fans, we know how crucial he is with his hands. He's a lot like Hopkins when it comes to catching the ball. He has glue on his hands. And the other thing is that, you know, as us Clemson fans have seen in the past, Eric Dungey has had our number quite a few different times from Syracuse, but yet nobody is talking about him in the draft. And I know he's going to the draft, and he is dangerous at quarterback. In my opinion, he's NFL pro. Nobody wants to seem to talk about him.
Yeah, Eric Dungey is a very interesting prospect. He definitely will go in the draft. The question is, will he go as high as the third or fourth round, or will he fall all the way down to the very end? I think that Eric Dungey is going to fall into the same category as what's the quarterback's name from Penn State? The name's slipping my mind. You know what I'm talking about? Oh God. Anyway.
I'm about to think.
Yeah, very similar style of play. I mean, they're very mobile. They're playmakers, but they don't have the biggest arm. They're not the most accurate. And it's really hard to tell in those type of systems that both Penn State and Syracuse run exactly how good he is at the line of scrimmage as far as reading defenses and changing the play. I think that Eric Dungey is one of these players that could develop into a good NFL quarterback. But if you just look at his size and his arm strength, I don't think that he is what most teams are looking for. He's one of those guys that's like a little bit of a gamble, I think. Now, as far as Hunter Renfrow goes, listen, Hunter Renfrow is, in my opinion, a second-round talent. Now, I don't think he'll go in the first 2 rounds. He'll fall to somewhere between the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. If somebody is able to pick him up late, like in the 5th round, if he falls that far, that's going to be the biggest steal of the draft because you saw him play.
It really is. It really is, man.
Yeah.
He's been well, us Clemson fans think he's been around Clemson. Like he's never, you know. I say whoever gets him, hopefully it's my Texans, but whoever gets him, you know, they're gonna get the steal of the century. It's just like I think a lot of people aren't giving a Mitch Hyatt. He's another one that's a sleeper that could be huge when the time comes.
Yeah, he's another one that I don't think you'd put him in the top 5 offensive linemen in the draft, but as a mid-round draft pick, maybe a 3rd or 4th pick, he would be somebody that's definitely a good pickup for anybody. Listen, I'd love for my Carolina Panthers to take Renfrow and Mitch Hyatt because we need offensive line help, and we really need a good slot receiver in Carolina. And can you imagine Hunter Renfrow and Christian McCaffrey on the same offense? That would be a handful for anybody to deal with. But I think that Hunter Renfrow.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna butt in one time here, and then I'll let you go on about what you're talking about. But imagine for a second there, okay? You know how good Hunter Renfrow is. Imagine if he goes to the Texans as like a late pick. You know how he works with Watson. You know how Watson feels about Renfrow. Imagine if he had his receiver alongside Nuke. Imagine how scary the offense would be for our Texans.
Listen, I think there's a good chance he will go to the Texans. I also think there's a good chance he'll go to New England. And listen, that's, the running joke is that they love to draft these white slot receivers, and he'll be Julian Edelman's sort of heir apparent. Listen, as a Carolina Panthers fan, I'd love to have him. There's a lot of teams now, Arizona, Kansas City, the Los Angeles Rams, these would all be great fits for a guy like Renfrow. And, of course, Houston would definitely be one. And I wouldn't be surprised if Houston pulls the trigger on Renfrow a little bit earlier than most teams are willing to do it. Listen, I think that if it gets to the fourth round and he's not taken yet, then somebody like New England or Kansas City would take him in a heartbeat. But I think that Houston may pull the trigger earlier and shock some people. He might end up going in late in the second round or even early in the third round. But we'll see. But you're right. I think that he's going to be the steal of the draft. The guy in 2017, he did not have one single dropped ball. He's the only receiver in the country that caught 100% of catchable balls, and that's an amazing stat. And the guy's just a baller, and he's a good guy. And with everything that's going on in the NFL right now, with all these players getting in trouble, that does mean something. You don't have to worry about a guy going out there and getting in trouble with the law or beating his wife or something. So I agree with you.
Yeah. Hunter Renfrow. Now, I'm not going to get into religious stuff or whatever, but I will say this. He's a more down to earth guy that focuses on, gives 110% on his position, which is wide receiver at slot receiver, and he doesn't look outside crap get in the way of what he's focused on, which is playing football.
Yeah, and his speed is underrated. His route running is underrated. And listen, when it comes to being a receiver in the NFL, you could have all the height and the best hands in the world, but if you can't run routes good, look at Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant's a perfect example of this. Dez Bryant is one of the most gifted athletes maybe to come in the NFL in our lifetime, but he's one of the worst route runners. And so he's just a jump ball 50-50 guy. And even just being that, he was very successful in Dallas for a lot of years. But being able to run crisp routes and being intelligent about the game on offense goes a long way. And you put that with his speed and athleticism and his hands, and it's a home run. Whoever gets him is going to he'll be a star in the NFL, I really believe, as long as he goes to the right team.
Yeah, I think that people are going to be that don't follow Hunter Renfrow and follow the Clemson Tigers and get him as a pick that don't know what he's capable of are going to be amazed.
Yeah, I agree. And if he ends up going to my Panthers, I am going to officially throw a party at the Pigskin Pete house, and you are all invited. Everybody in here.
All right. Well, if that's the case, man, I'll be there with my Watson Texans jersey then.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I appreciate you accepting my call, man, and I'm gonna put a little plug in here. If y'all haven't followed me, follow Tiger Texan Superfan on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram. Follow me on there, and thanks for accepting my call.
Yeah, man, thanks for calling in. Give me a call back next time. I appreciate it.
Definitely. All right.
And it looks like we got a couple of super chats that came in when I was on the phone with him. And, of course, Catfish from the Volunteer Roadshow. Catfish is really trying to win this thing. He's not happy with Small Wall running away with this thing. So, Catfish coming through with a $20 super chat. I'll spot you the penny, sir. I know I normally wouldn't do that, but I'm going to spot it to you today, sir. And so what does that give you? Catfish was up to 40. Now he's up to 60 entries into the super chat contest. Also, Sun Tzu coming through with the dollar. So that enters you. Listen, Sun Tzu, you might still win it. It only takes one entry to win, sir. So no funny business here. If your name's the one that comes out of the hat, then you will be getting a hat or a shirt of your choice. And so that gives you one entry. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate your support there. Let me get back to the call-in thing here real quick and see if anybody else is on the line there. If not, I'll get back to what I was talking about. And it looks like nobody's on the line at the moment. Anybody wants to call in and yell at me and tell me how stupid I am, tell me to take my sunglasses off, ask me if I have a bald spot on my head, is that where I wear a hat? Ask me if I just became a Clemson fan in 2014. Do I have a job? Do I live in my mom's basement? Those are all acceptable questions. And if you want to do that, you can call me in at 855-902-9368. And listen, this might be your only chance to ever talk to Pigskin Pete. I could walk out of my house tomorrow and get hit by a bus, even though there's no buses that run through this neighborhood. It still could happen. Anything's possible. And so if you really want to talk to Pigskin Pete, now is the time to definitely do it. So good luck with that. Volunteer Roadshow says, I'm winning. I promise you that. Bryce Harper, 13 years, $330 million. Holy Christ. A lot of people saying Dallas, 4th round to Renfro. Listen, I'll root for him anywhere he goes, but I'm going to have a real hard time rooting for Dallas, even with Hunter Renfro. And you know who else would not like that too much? A guy named Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley thinks he's the best slot receiver in the history of football, and he's probably going to be out of there soon, I think. People said Tom Brady is too old for the NFL and won the Super Bowl. Yeah, well, people said that Russell Wilson was too short to be an NFL quarterback. People said Drew Brees was too small. People said that Christian McCaffrey was too small to be a viable running back. Meanwhile, look at his numbers. His first 2 years are, out of the park. Good. I don't know when people are finally going to wake up, because I've been listen, I love to beat my chest when I'm right, and so I'm going to do it right now. I've been preaching this for at least 5 years. Now, I've only been on YouTube for about a year and a half, or less than a year and a half. But I'm telling you, I've been preaching this for at least 5 years. The NFL, forget everything you thought about what the NFL was in the 90s and early 2000s and any year before that. The NFL is changing. They're hiring college coaches. They're running college schemes. They're doing different things, particularly on offense, than they have ever done before. Throw all your preconceived notions about size and hand size and all that. Just throw it out the window. It doesn't matter anymore. This is being proven year after year after year after year. And so when I'm right, I'm right. And guess what? I'm right. Now, I'm not sold on Kyler Murray for other reasons. Kyler Murray might end up being as good as Russell Wilson or Drew Brees or whoever. But he may end up being a bust. You never know in how their game is going to translate from the college game to the NFL game. And it's not because of his size or his arm strength or his weight or any of that. It's going to be all up here. Now, I do know one thing about Kyler Murray. For anybody who doesn't know this, Kyler Murray grew up in Texas, played Texas high school football, obviously. And there's a lot of people in the state of Texas that follow high school football religiously that will tell you that he is probably the most prolific high school Texas quarterback that they have ever seen. And there's been some amazing talents at that position to come out of the state of Texas playing high school football. So if he played at that high of a level in high school, he played at that high of a level in college, and he's not a certified midget, what would make anybody believe that he can't succeed at least at some level in the NFL? So I give the guy. Listen, if the Panthers were in the need of a quarterback in this draft this year, I would take him. I would take him ahead of Haskins. I would take him ahead of Drew Lock and Daniel Jones and Ryan Finley and who's the other guy out of Boise, Rippon. I would. But that's just me. Bucky Burke says 5th round of the Bills for Renfro. I've seen a lot of mock drafts having Christian Wilkins from the from Clemson going to the Bills. And the Bills have a very long history of drafting Clemson players. We call that Clemson North because of all the Clemson players that the Bills draft. And I don't know what the connection is there, but there's got to be some. His hand size was bigger than Mayfield. His hand size was the same hand size as, oh, God, who was it? Sam Darnold for the Jets last year. He went third overall to the Jets, Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold's a big guy. He's like, what, 6'4", 6'5", and he has the same size hand as Darnold. So now that hand size is important when you're talking about graduating from a college-size football to an NFL-size football. But 9.5 inches from, and this is the way they measure it. They measure it from the tip of your thumb to the tip of your pinky, and 9.5 inches is plenty big for any NFL quarterback. You know what they say about big hands? All right, let me check and see if anybody's on the line real quick. All right, looks like I got a couple calls here. So I'm going to answer the one that came in first. If Catfish, just hold on 1 second, sir. I know you can hear me. I'm going to take this other call real quick. I might bring you in during this call and see how that works. But I'm going to take this one first. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Mayday, how you doing, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, my God. It's Bobby Durkins. Bobby Durkins here. How you doing, sir?
I'm here. Let me tell you, I'm taking a break right now at work. Can't stay too long because those cats won't kill themselves. But you're doing the Lord's work here. You're doing real good. I don't know about you. I'm more depressed than somebody who failed Weight Watchers. I mean, I'm missing college football, buddy. I'm missing it. I'm missing it.
Doesn't everybody fail Weight Watchers? Has anybody ever succeeded at that other than Oprah?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
And did she really stay on Weight Watchers?
No.
She never stayed on Weight Watchers. You know it. I know it. Oprah knows it. That man she's been living with for 35 years but won't marry him. He knows it.
Yeah, she just stopped eating for about 3 weeks, I think, and lost a couple of pounds, and everybody patted her on the back for it. But I'm with you, man. I miss college football too. Listen, I'm on here making videos about the AAF and whatever else. And listen, I don't care. I could give two craps about the AAF. I mean, but I'm not hiding that. I'm not one of these guys that's on there acting like it's exciting. Have you watched it? Have you watched the AAF?
I watched the highlights, and wasn't that same one that Rod Woodson said nobody's watching, and then they tried to cover up because they said, well, that was they took out of context what he was saying, and I think they actually nailed it like the first time. Nobody was watching. I don't know. All I know is nothing will ever touch college football.
I'll tell you this: the AAF, watching what's his name, the head ball coach on the sidelines is more exciting than watching the actual game. The Atlanta Legends, by the way, they got to be the worst football team in the history of all of football. I mean, I'm talking about going back to the 1800s, whenever they were, didn't even have leather helmets. They didn't even have anything. They were out there in their underwear, and they were better. They were better then than the Atlanta Legends are now. The Atlanta Legends would get beat by Syracuse or maybe even South Carolina, for that matter.
Yeah. Now let me go ahead and tell you this. A lot of people don't know this, but I dive into the annals of academia when it comes to football. A lot of people don't know that the very first ball game was actually played with a human skull. Of course, the person was deceased, and I believe there's some things back in that was thrown around their grandma's head that could beat that Atlanta team. They're that bad. They are that bad. But I'm telling you, man, you and I, we're going to a spring game together, aren't we?
Yes.
We'll get in trouble.
Yeah,
we'll get running around, jerking around, maybe make fun of some old people in wheelchairs like we did last time.
Yeah. Yes, so that's a good time for me to announce this. So the spring game, April 6th, Saturday, April 6th, the Clemson spring game, and of course in Clemson, South Carolina. I'm driving up maybe Friday or Saturday morning, Friday night or Saturday morning, and I'm going to meet up with Bobby Durkins, Tiger Nation, of course, Prince 6'1", and anybody else who's in the area who wants to come and hang out, come do it. If you're one of these guys that wants to come and hang out and drink a couple beers, we'll let you know where we're at. if you're one of these guys that wants to come and kick my ass that you've been telling me for the past year and a half, you're going to come beat me up, now's your time to do it. I'll be waiting. Or if you just want to come and get into one of my videos, because I'm planning on doing some videos this time. Last time we really missed out on an opportunity there. Yeah.
We really did. We really did. We really did. It was like taking a sleeping pill on December the 24th and waking up on December 26th, and you missed the whole darn thing. Well, listen, man, I'm going to let you go. Y'all be good. Good to see you. Keep doing your good things. And you know what? College football will be here. Meaningful football will be here before you know it. And I'm making a bold prediction on your show. On what day is this? February the 28th. On February the 28th, our Clemson Tigers will repeat as the national championship. Take it to the bank. As long as it's not Wells Fargo, because they don't accept cash unless you're an account holder anymore.
All right.
See you, buddy. Bye.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that. Hey, make sure that when you're killing those cats, you kill them on the first shot. If you don't, that's definitely animal cruelty. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this next call here. It's Catfish on the line. Good afternoon, Catfish. How you doing, sir?
What's going on from the state of Texas? Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. What's going on?
Hey,
I think I'm going to come to that spring game you got. I want to come scout out the team we're going to be playing in the national championship this next year. That's what y'all got down there. Check under the hood and see. I might even bring my truck down there.
No,
Give y'all a sneak peek of
no,
the right kind of orange.
I don't know about all that national championship talk, but nonetheless, I would love for you to bring your truck down and come hang out with us. That'd be great.
That would be great, but I couldn't stop at a couple beers. I don't know where you're getting this couple beer stuff.
Well, listen, I'm from the
That's
South,
just
man.
getting warmed up.
A couple beers could be anywhere from 2 to 30. That's how.
Yeah,
that works.
that's true. Yeah, that's how that works.
You know, whenever you get pulled over by the cops,
Well,
and they say, "Have you had anything to drink tonight?" and you can't even damn hardly keep your eyes open. You go, "Yeah, I just had a couple beers." You know, a couple beers is a couple beers.
Yeah, you got to stay away from them. You got to stay away from the fuzz, as we call it out here on the road. But anyway, how about my Vols? Let's talk about my Vols for a minute before I talk about KYLER Murray. We got 2 5-star recruits on the offensive line next year. I've been screaming about our offensive line since I don't know when, but we're coming. We're in your rearview mirror, Clemson, Alabama. I know Billy Dawson's on here. All you don't look in your mirror because the objects are a lot bigger than they appear in your mirror, especially the hood of this truck. Anyway.
But by next year, what do you mean? Do you mean 2020?
I mean 2019.
Oh, that's this year, man. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, next season.
Okay, I got you. So let me ask you this. Because, listen, I actually do think that Tennessee this year is going to have a breakthrough year. And I don't mean they're going to win 11 or 12 games or anything, but I think they could very easily win 8 or 9 games. And that's a big improvement from where they've been. Last year, I said they would win, 5 games, and everyone called me crazy. I think I might have made you a little bit angry at me, but I was right, man. Listen, I'm right more than I'm wrong. You know this already. So take it to the bank.
I'm probably one of the top 2 or 3 smartest guys on YouTube. And that's undeniable. And I'm not one of these nitwits that say we're going to go 15-0. But I think you're right. We're going to win 8, 9 games. I promise you that.
So all you have to do, in my estimation,
anyway,
to win 8 or 9 games, you're going to have to beat Florida. That's going to be one that you're going to have to win. So I know you play Alabama every year,
that's
right?
done.
That's your cross-divisional game?
Yeah, we got to play Alabama every year.
So who other than Alabama in the SEC that you don't play every year, who else is the other one you play this year?
Mississippi State this year.
That's winnable, for sure. Where's that game at?
Yep. I don't even know. I think it's at Mississippi State if I'm not, I wouldn't be wrong. I'd just be mistaken, but I think it is at Mississippi State. We had LSU last year, and we got finally, this is one of a reprieve for our out-of-conference. We've always scheduled really hard games out of conference. I've always hated it. I think the Alabama model is way to go because we got so many hard games as it is in the SEC. Well, we got BYU this year. Last year we had West Virginia, and we've got Oklahoma again coming up. I believe next couple of years we're home and home. We had them 3 or 4 times in the last decade. That's always been a struggle. They beat the tar out of us. But speaking of Oklahoma, I think you're right about KYLER Murray. I think if he's a winner, I don't get to watch a lot of sports. As you know, I'm driving this truck. But what I have seen, I think he's pretty smart. And I drive by his high school probably 3 or 4 times a week up there north side of Dallas in Allen, Texas. Let me tell you something. That's probably bigger. That stadium is probably bigger than Vanderbilt's. It is humongous. And I'm not kidding.
Yeah, no.
It's huge.
I agree. They've got some enormous high school stadiums out there.
Yeah. I'd say next to Florida, Texas has got to be the second best place. And it's just because it's such a big area compared to Florida. But Texas football, and everybody I talk to about Texas football talks about KYLER Murray like he's the next Messiah. But he is small. I've always not liked running quarterbacks or dual threat quarterbacks because their career is just so short. But if he can throw the ball, I mean, heck, how tall is Drew Brees? What is he, 6 foot? Everybody said he was too small. You mentioned that earlier. Yeah,
so Drew Brees is 6 foot, but Russell Wilson is the most comparable to KYLER Murray. Russell Wilson is 5'11", so he's only an inch taller than Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but
I think Russell Wilson's probably built a little better than KYLER.
Well, he's about
get him some good strength and conditioning guys. I think he can put on some weight.
Yeah, listen, Russell Wilson's 220 pounds, which is 13 pounds more than Murray is now. But when Russell Wilson was drafted, he was the same size as Murray. So.
Oh yeah.
And listen, Russell Wilson has not had injury problems in the NFL. So, it's all, especially these baseball players, they know how to get down and slide, and that's the key. Everyone talks about Robert Griffin III. Oh, Robert Griffin, the running quarterback. Look how that worked out. Well, first of all, Robert Griffin he's a terrible passer of the football. Comparing KYLER Murray to Robert Griffin is not even fair. And second of all, Robert Griffin he might be the most awkward quarterback as far as taking hits. He took every bad hit you could possibly take. If you look at Russell Wilson, he doesn't take hits. He gets down. He's smart. Now that's what if Murray's going to succeed in the NFL, he's going to have to really take a page out of Russell Wilson's book and do exactly what he does as far as avoiding hits.
And I think he needs to be in a system like Russell Wilson was in. That general manager they had, I don't think he's there anymore, and I forget his name. They really built a good team around him that ran his style. And I'm going to tell you something. This may be unpopular, but, they say Tom Brady, Montana, Manning, and Elway, they're the greatest quarterback. I'm going to tell you something. The situation you get into has more to do with your success than anything. I guarantee you there's some quarterbacks that have come through the NFL. They're probably better than all of them, but they never were in the right position. Never in the right situation with the right coach.
That's exactly right.
And you never hear from them again. Just like in NASCAR back when I used to follow it, there's drivers on these dirt tracks on Friday nights that are better than Jimmy John. All them guys, Jeff Gordon. They just don't get the opportunity in the right position, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I mean,
and back in the day, there were guys skipping the draft and going into the USFL just to avoid being on the Bucks. Yeah. I mean, that was the thing back in the 70s. I remember it. I was living then.
Yeah.
And so I just think the situation, he's just got to go to the right situation.
And
I think if I would say Seattle ought to draft him. They've already got the building block for a quarterback like that. And Russell Wilson, I don't know how much longer he has.
Well, he's still young. He's not even 30 yet. Yeah, he's still young.
He's not 30 yet. Well, dang.
No, well, he might be right at 30, but he's still got it. I don't think they're looking for a quarterback, but.
And the way these rules are these days,
exactly,
you're not taking the hits. The quarterback, you can't hardly breathe on the quarterback without getting a flag. And that's one thing I like about the AAF. you can lay the wood to somebody and they're not going to get a flag as much as in the NFL and college. I like that. I know you're supposed to be safe and all that, but if you want to be, this is what Brett Favre said, if you want to be safe at football, don't play football. This is a sport based upon hits, and I think that there should be some rules, to protect the players, but I think it's getting out of hand. I really do.
Yeah, it really is, and I think honestly, I don't think the NFL cares about their safety. I think that what they're looking at is they want higher TV ratings and more
lawsuit.
More points equals more offense, and more points equals higher ratings. And so that's what they're really going after. They could give two craps about whether you get a concussion or not. They just want more higher TV ratings, But
there's some lawsuits being cropped up here lately about some former players suing the NFL, and I think some of that has to do with some of the rules they're trying to, avoid some liability there. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah.
So who's going number one in the draft? If Bosa, I don't think Bosa's going to go number one. I think that kid from Kentucky, Allen, I think he'll be number one.
I do agree it's going to be either Allen or Bosa, but you never know. So here's the thing. Here's the X factor in this. So Cliff Kingsbury is the new coach at Arizona. They have the number one pick, right? And
yep.
Listen, this guy couldn't even keep his job at Texas Tech. He goes to Southern California and is an offensive coordinator for all of a day or two, and then gets offered the job at Arizona because this is what the NFL is doing. They're going after offensive-minded college coaches because this is what the NFL is turning into. And so, but listen, he's a guy from Texas. Josh Rosen, who was drafted with their first pick last year, but Cliff Kingsbury didn't draft him. That was the previous coach. He's not going to be a good NFL quarterback. I just don't think he is. So the question is, how bad does Cliff Kingsbury really want Kyler Murray? Because he's very familiar with him. And he would be fit the Cliff Kingsbury style of offense to a T. Josh Rosen is not going to be able to run the kind of offense that Cliff Kingsbury wants to run there. I can promise you that. So a lot of people think that Murray could go first overall to the Cardinals. Now that they would have to do something with Rosen.
I don't see that. I think he's got too much risk involved. He might. He might. I've heard people say that, but if I was a GM, I wouldn't waste a first rounder on him. I don't think I would. Maybe a late first round pick. Where's most people say he's going? Mid first round.
Oh man,
he's going to be the first quarterback taken.
It's all over the board. So you have a lot of people think that Haskins is going to be the first one taken, but you've got everything from the first overall pick falling all the way down to 13, I think, to the Redskins. He'll definitely go in the top 15. Murray will. The question is, will he go to the Dolphins? I think the Dolphins pick 6th and the Redskins pick 13th. And, of course, you have the Giants, I think, pick sorry. Damn it. I'm cussing now. The Giants pick, I think, 4th or 5th or something like that. But I don't see him going to the Giants. They're in love with Eli Manning, so I don't see him going there. But if he doesn't go first overall, he'll definitely fall down to either Miami or Washington, I would think.
I see the Giants, if they draft a quarterback, I think they'd take Haskins over Murray just because of the system they have. And I think they're needing to find a quarterback. Eli, he hasn't been himself for 3 or 4 years now.
The weird thing about Haskins, and I guess we'll learn more about him during this combine thing, even though I'm not a big fan of the combine, as far as evaluating talent, because you're not evaluating talent when they're just out there in their underwear throwing around a football. It's just not. You've got game tape on these people. But Haskins is a quiet. He's kind of flying under the radar. He only started 1 year at Ohio State. He's a big guy. He's got a great arm. He's a great passer. But other than that, he's not a very boisterous guy as far as his personality. So you don't really get a good idea of how good of a leader he would be. And you also don't really have enough game tape in college to really give an accurate evaluation of him.
Yeah.
So he's one of these guys that he could end up being a really great NFL player or a complete bust. I don't know. I don't pretend to know enough about Haskins to make a really intelligent evaluation of him. So
I posted on my community tab on YouTube and on Facebook about the new Heisman's odds. Have you seen that? They got
they got Tua at number 1 now. Yeah,
Tua, and then Jalen Hurd and Justin Fields. Who else was in there?
Well, Trevor Lawrence, of course. So come on now.
I can't remember. Trevor Lawrence. I forgot about him. He should be a Tennessee player. You know what? And let me tell you something. You heard it here first. All this transferring. You know who they just announced the position coaches at Knoxville, at Tennessee, and T. Martin's the wide receiver coach. When I heard that, I said they might be gearing up to try to see if T's boy Amari Rogers would transfer. Now, wouldn't that be a coup d'etat? Man, that would be great.
Well, Amari Rogers.
You'd really hate Tennessee then.
Yeah, Amari Rogers ain't going nowhere. I thought you were about to say Trevor Lawrence is going to transfer, and I was shaking my head.
Nah. Trevor Lawrence ain't going anywhere.
No.
I tell you what, as far as the freshman goes, I don't like giving a lot of credit to rivals, but Trevor Lawrence had one of the best freshman seasons that I've seen in a long time, if not ever. I know everybody had all this hype about him, and I heard it from you and Bobby and the rest of them, but man, it just seemed like every game he got better. And I'm interested to see how he plays this second year. I think I'd have to put him as the leading candidate for the Heisman, even over Tua. I mean, I know that I'm an SEC homer, but I don't know. I just think what he's been able to do, he's got everything you want in a quarterback. He's just cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just cool under pressure, and he was making throws that NFL players weren't making. I mean, just some of the best throws I've seen.
Yeah, and I got
to give it to this.
He's got all of his weapons back too. Everybody but Renfro is coming back.
Yeah.
He's got the wide receiver core at Clemson is ridiculous, and he's still got the running back support too with Etienne and Feaster both coming back. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Tua is a great player. Tua put up video game numbers last year, but I think that Trevor Lawrence this year, the first 4 games he was only playing half the time, and maybe not even that, maybe like 30% of the time before Kelly Bryant transferred or left or whatever he did. I mean, Trevor Lawrence this year is just going to be ridiculous. As long as he stays healthy, I think he'll be the best quarterback in the country. I know I'm biased, but I'm just.
I know he's not going to get hit like Tua is going to get hit.
That's true too.
I think that's going to benefit him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to benefit him and his longevity. I mean, you might as well just come to terms with it now. He's not playing all 4 years. He's just not. He's going to come out.
No.
He's coming out. He is.
Yeah, he'd be stupid to stay 4 years, but he's still got 2019 and 2020 left in college, so we still got 2 more seasons with him. So.
Yeah, that's scary. Scary.
Yeah, and you should go ahead and beat your chest.
Speaking of Hunter Renfro, go ahead.
I was going to say, you should go ahead and beat your chest and let everybody who's watching now know. Because all these Georgia people out there that love to brag about how Clemson got their best quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence from the state of Georgia. Trevor Lawrence is not a Georgia native. He's a Tennessee native. He grew up a Tennessee fan. He moved to Georgia to play high school football there. And he never liked the Georgia Bulldogs. Yeah. He was always a big orange guy. And so since the Tennessee Orange was in a down period as far as football goes, he went to the next best orange team at the time, and he ended up at Clemson. So I want to thank all you Tennessee people out there for sending Trevor Lawrence our way. And sorry about your luck, Georgia Bulldogs.
Don't remind me of Butch Jones, because Butch Jones cost us a lot of recruits. Cade Mays at Georgia, he's the reason he's at Georgia instead of following in his daddy's footsteps and playing at Tennessee. But that's all right. We got Jarrett Garantano. I mean, he's no Heisman hopeful, but he's a tough kid. We're coming for everybody this year. Hunter Renfro, he can almost draw Social Security. He's so dang old. So I think he's a good player. Do you think he'll where do you think he'll end up? You think he said Carolina, or where'd you say he was going to go?
Well, I'm going to stick with everybody else and say he's going to New England because they love to draft those white slot receivers. But
yeah, the next Wes Welker.
Yeah.
Hey, he reminds me a lot like him. I mean, he's got great hands and runs great routes.
I would put Hunter Renfrow at either New England, Houston. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's there, and Bill O'Brien's a former college coach. Arizona with Cliff Kingsbury would love him. The L.A. Rams, all these former college coaches that are running college styles offense would love to have Renfrow, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. He's a good kid, class act. Y'all got a good thing going. People like to compare Dabo to Nick Saban. They're really polar opposites. They have different programs, but they're both just as serious. But I watched something on TV. I was right around the national championship game, and I didn't realize just how much fun it is to play for Clemson. It just seemed like they were really loose, all except for Venables. I don't think he's ever loose.
No.
And he's always uptight and wound up like a rubber band. I tell you, he's pretty intense. But it just seemed like a good atmosphere that y'all got going on down there. So
yeah, it's a funny thing.
See.
That,
y'all gonna be playing my balls. Y'all better hope Dabo get some coached up, because one of these years Dabo's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Tennessee's coming.
Yeah, I don't doubt that, man.
So,
hey, listen, just do me a favor and please, pretty please, with a cherry on top, beat South Carolina this year, please.
Oh, we're definitely. We let them off the hook 2 years in a row. We let them damn coots off 2 years in a row at Neyland, first and goal from the 5, and we couldn't score. Let them off the hook. We had them beat down there in that chicken pen in Columbia, and we let them off the hook. Who was that coach that had that press conference that talked about the Bears? Denny Green, remember that? We had them.
Oh, yeah.
We let them off.
We let them off the hook. Yeah. We are who they thought they were.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's classic.
Anyway, great show, and I am winning. I mean, I don't want to discourage anybody from super chat, and I think you should super chat, but you need to read the fine print. I'm winning, and if I don't win, I demand a recount. That's all I got, Pete. Have a good one.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. Catfish. Everybody knows him. That's the legendary, the one and only Catfish from Volunteer Roadshow, otherwise known as Roadshow Sports now. And he's one of my favorite people in the world, not only on YouTube. Great guy. While I was on the phone with him, by the way, real quick, I got a hold on. It looks like I have another call here. I got a notification that DeGoat Watson joined the Patreon page with 2 entries into the Patreon contest. He did not want to let Border Bob run away with this. So thank you, DeGoat Watson. You're the man, sir. And so you are officially entered into this. So we'll see next week. Either you or Border Bob will win the $50 Visa gift card. And looks like whoever was on the line hung up. Maybe they got scared. I don't know. That's fine. Sometimes I get scared of myself too. So I understand that completely. But thank you to Goat Watson. You're the man. Tiger Nation's in the house. What's up, Pete? What contest? The Patreon contest, sir. Anybody who signs up in the month of February, which it is still February, gets entered into the contest, and it's between you and Border Bob right now. And I'll do a drawing next week to see who wins that, and you'll win a $50 Visa gift card. Or you can just say, hey, I don't want a $50 Visa gift card, and I'll keep it. I'll go spend it on my kids. I'm just kidding, sir. I'll send it to you. You can always count on Bobby Durkins and Catfish to call in and save the show. Great guys. The Crowing Cock. Hey, the Crowing Cock. Hold on, watch this. I got something for you, sir. Hold on. Size is this? I think it's a youth size. I don't know. Somebody gave this to me. as a gag gift. You see that? Now, I will admit, I've spilled some stuff on it and I've blown my nose on it a couple times. But if anybody who's a Gamecock fan out there who is either a woman or a small person or a kid, I'd be happy to wash it and send it to you because I'm not going to get any use out of it. And so there you have it. I've been waiting to use it as a prop for something, but I can't wear it because it's a kid size, so I can't really use it for anything. But the person that gave me that shirt is no longer my friend because once they gave me that shirt, that was the end of our friendship. Wipe your ass. You know what's actually funny, Tiger Nation? I actually thought about doing that on air. I literally contemplated pulling down my pants and wiping my backside with that shirt on air. And luckily, somebody that has a little bit more sense than me told me, do not do that. So I didn't. But I did blow my nose on it a couple times on air, which is pretty gross. Anyway, all right, guys, I got to get off here. I got something to do. Listen, thanks, everybody, for stopping in. Anybody who wants to enter the Patreon contest or the Super Chat contest, now is the time to do it. We got a Volunteer Roadshow and Sun Tzu, both with some more entries into the Super Chat contest. DeGoat Watson, my man, entered the Patreon contest. You have till tomorrow to enter that if you want to. And I may do a stream tomorrow night if I'm free. I try to do a Friday night beer drinking stream, and the Friday night beer drinking stream is just that. It's usually anywhere between 9 and 11 p.m., after the kids go to sleep and everything quiets down around the house. And I just do a Q&A show. It's not a call-in show or anything. I just sit here, drink beer, and answer questions from the chat. Anything you want to talk about. It doesn't have to be football related. I'll answer anything within reason, and that's what that's all about. So if I do a stream tomorrow night, that anybody who does a Super Chat for that stream will also be entered into the Super Chat contest, and I'll do drawings next week. You're all amazing. You're all fantastic. Anybody who's a midget, I might send this to Kyler Murray. That's about his size, right? I don't know, 200 pounds. He might be a little bit too big for it, but he's got the height for it, though. Anybody who wants that, let me know. I might send it to you. Anyway, it's been fun. It's been real, but it has not been real fun. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I do these live shows every single week. I also upload meaningless and pointless college football videos year-round and maybe NFL videos too. That's it. I don't know what else to say, folks. Have a great day, I guess. Pigskin Pete. Checking out.